I've seen flips and flaps I didn't know existed. I found a G-spot finally.
I can be like, oh, well, I can be like, oh, I got man boobs and my dick is shrimpy.
Full amount of sex you've had. We gotta work on that.
Government names of the full amount of people you've had sex with. Prairie dog and nothing. Like, it was like half hanging out. It felt like, hell yeah. Watch the video to understand what we're doing with our bodies.
Episode 18.
Episode 18, everybody. How is everyone doing out there tonight? We, as always, are the Dapper Dads, and we welcome you to the Dapper Dad Show.
Yes, it's beautiful. I'm glad you joined us. Was episode 17 so good that you couldn't contain yourself? Because I agree.
Because we also
the only good thing we've ever made.
Literally, I'm very, very proud of us for episode 17.
Episode 17 is going to go up in the books.
It is, and I mean, I think that's what the good mix is when I'm just like depraved of all good things in life, and I'm just like at my worst, and you're like, well, I'm just gonna fucking chug vodka lemonades all day. It'll be just fine, buddy. And I'm like, you piece of shit.
And that's the bad news is we're both back to normal. So we both had
normal
days.
We've had some sleep.
He slept. I haven't as much as I was.
Barely.
I wasn't on a bender. Like I did the 3-day bender. You hit the Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Saturday. I was just drinking.
Well, as of recording, this is December 1st, so pretty much all of November and December is just pretty much a big bender for me anyway, because it's like I'm trying to fucking survive the holiday season. So if I'm not fucked up on at least 3 different things at one time during December, the month, it just don't feel like Christmas. That's like my special sauce mix I gotta get if I'm gonna be ringing in the jingling holiday season.
Ringing in the jingling.
The ringing in the jingle. Because it's the Jingle Bell Rock. All right, let's get the business aspect of this out of the way. So check us out at www.thedapperdads.com. We have everything in a nice, neat, tidy little low-leaded package bound up for you to go check out.
Go unwrap us.
Yeah, go unwrap us and
We're
find
adding
out.
the feature where you can unwrap one of us.
Go unwrap us and find.
One is a virus and one is one of us naked.
Go unwrap and find the secrets within. But we
you
have.
Turn me on.
Oh, I don't know where that came from. We have all of our streaming options available on there. So we are on YouTube, Bandcamp, and we got the video out finally.
Yeah,
on
the video's
same day.
fixed. I know, and it was funny because in the episode that came out, it's me bitching about not being able to fix it, and then when we went to editing, I was able to fix it. Yep. So going forward, knock on everything you fucking got. I think we're good.
I think we'll be fine. Also, make sure to call or text us at 402-7-DAPPER or 402-732-7737 with literally anything and everything. We have some hot and spicy, fresh off
we got a whopping
today.
6 submissions, guys. Thank you.
It's insanity.
I know we said last time that we had 0, and you come through without even hearing that. Technically, we got them before that aired.
God does provide. So I mean,
so we're ready to get into some beautiful questions from you guys.
There's going to be some good jumping off.
And if you listen and you're like, "Oh, those were good questions," and none of them were yours, they could be yours.
Check out the next one. If you have an interesting viewpoint, if you have a fun fact, if you have a story about your life, or need some fatherly advice from guys who aren't really dads, text us, call us, anything. This
episode will be a good mix of like ridiculous submissions and like good talking points, and then some general bullshit. So this will show you all the things you can throw out there. Like we said, we'll give you whatever the fuck you want. Also, dapperdadspodcast@gmail.com if for some reason you prefer emails out of everything.
Because if you can't,
send us
a fucking text.
The website is updated. If you want to do an anonymous submission, I looked at it personally how it works, and I added some text to explain. Just put in a name and put in any email. It just has to end with the email that exists.
Tell us
at gmail.com. But
tell us your deepest, darkest secrets, and we promise not to reveal your full government name unless you let us. I actually had somebody who I was hanging out with earlier, and they were telling me a story, and I can't remember what it was now for the life of me. I texted him. But he was like, I was like, yeah, I won't use anybody names. He goes, no, please use names. I want them to know who they are. I'm like, okay, as long as I have your permission to throw your baby mama's name out on the radio.
Yeah. And if you do any of the submissions and you want to like go by a name, if you want to go by your full government name, we'll do it. Just let me know. If you want to go by like any alias, we'll say it, just specify. 'Cause some people put in things and I can't tell if it's like if you want me to say that or you're just trying to come up with some bullshit.
Right, yeah. So just keep sending us those hot, fresh submissions and get your unique viewpoint sent out into the world by the Dapper Dads. We love people.
Yeah, listen to our take on it. We can be serious. We can be stupid.
We can give you anything you want. If you don't like the advice, tell us that too. That's all we're here for. Yeah. We are men of the people. This is a show.
We did get a meme. Did I send you the meme?
You did send us a meme, which
we did get a meme. We'll get into it.
We'll post it on the page.
Sure.
We also got a video shout out from a friend of mine that I will play the audio of, and we'll
put it on the Facebook page.
We'll put it on the Facebook page, and we'll definitely cut it into the video where we play it, because the video is something to behold. So Emilio, you're fucked up.
Okay, shout out Emilio.
Shout out Emilio.
I've heard great things about you. I love your. I love how much you support us. You've been there since the beginning.
You're
like one of the first fucking reviews.
Yeah, he's like an OG Dapper Dad fan.
Yeah, I love your aesthetic. You sent me that, and I was like, oh, it's like an anonymous type thing, and they're going to be like, the Dapper Dads must be shut down in 24 hours, or we will release your full government names and addresses. And I wish we would
get Mr. Roboted by some people.
It felt like you sent me it, and before I watched it, I was like, I don't know if this is good. And then I watched it and I was like, this is good.
Something I would love to say I just appreciate about Emilio is when he does listen to the show, he will text me points that he especially enjoys.
Yeah, and you relay them to me, and they're always great.
Yes, he said, I love the Dapper Dads. Listening to it feels like a bitter uncle's meeting in the divest of dive bars, and that's my aesthetic, or should I say, aesthetic, which is typed out with all capitals.
The only way it can be.
Only way it can be. We mentioned the Joe C for a little bit. He said, now the podcast has taken a fuck you to turn. Now this ride is stopping at all my favorite stops. And I'll play the audio into the mic here, but we'll throw the video into the video component. We'll throw it on the Facebook because he is wearing what appears to be a tall-necked Dracula cape and a long, like the mask Danny DeVito wore at the orgy.
Yeah, I thought of that. Sunny. I also thought of the old pictures of like the people in the plagues used to wear.
Yeah, like the plague doctors.
Yeah, the plague.
It's like a weird and he's wearing some shirt. Emilio, this looks like something your dad would have wore back in the day when he was drumming at Mary's place.
I also need to know if this was specifically for us or this was attire for something else you were going to, like a gala of sorts.
I 100% guarantee you he just has this laying around the house. Like
that's my kind of guy.
Let me tell you something. I met this guy in the alley behind Culture Shock back in like 2010 or 11.
Of course.
And if that doesn't tell you about the type of personal relationship we have, I don't know what will.
Yeah.
We used to do stand-up comedy together. Actually, we actually. It's so funny that we're called the Dapper Dads because we had a skit we would do together called "Oh Dad," which is where we would just come up with the most terrible, fucked up thing in the entire world and just be like, "Oh Dad," be like, "Oh hey, remember when Dad was screaming about the Jews on National Holocaust Day? Oh Dad," just stupid shit like that. There's pictures of us doing out there. But Emilio, thank you for your constant and unbridled support.
Day one Dapper Dad.
Day one Dapper Dad OG. So here is Emilio's message to the dads that was sent to me today.
Hey Slimmy baby, I just wanted to let you know that the Dapper Dads is my aesthetic.
I love everything about it. Yeah. Beautiful. So once again,
we have catchphrases.
We do. It's starting to catch on. So Emilio, thank you so much for your continued support.
And that's it.
Yeah, that's it. That's the whole episode.
18. That means this episode can drink and no, it can't drink. I mean, it can.
I mean, it's probably drinking. It's experimenting with drinking.
It's definitely getting too drunk.
It's getting pressured. It's getting pressured at parties to get into drinking.
Yeah,
and it's like drinking a Smirnoff.
Yeah,
like trying
it's
to
hiding 40s in the vacant lot behind its house.
This episode is like sneaking schnapps out of like Dad's cabinet and taking a drink out of it.
But it can smoke and buy porn because you know how 18-year-olds are probably buying porn.
Yeah. Have you ever purchased pornography? Like, have you ever like been compelled to purchase a porno video or anything like that? When I don't mean online. I mean like online, like video store,
physical
anything
copies.
like that. Like digital or physical, anything. Have you ever paid for pornography?
I tried to, when I was 16, buy a porno magazine with my buddy at a local like corner store that he lived by. And the lady was just like, haha, you guys don't need that. Because they had them with the black, like
the
insert,
covers. So you can't see anything.
And we took it up there just to see. Didn't go for cigarettes or anything fun. Tried to buy porn.
Yeah.
But otherwise, no. I mean, I was an internet baby, so.
Yeah, I mean, like anything. I
remember downloading porn mad slow.
Like super mad slow.
Pictures,
I remember downloading.
And then you get halfway through and there's a dick.
I can't believe I'm going to put my whole life on blast here.
I mean, what's new?
As a young child, we had dial-up internet, and so it wouldn't load any videos at all. Every time I went to go watch a video, it'd be like plug-in not supported, because it was like
they didn't even have
it was like Adobe
second.
Flash player or something like that, and it was and so I would download pictures that I would print off because they took forever to download. I grew up in a small town where the internet was basically powered by like a farmer sitting on a chair.
And your mom got on the phone and
he
fucked
like
it up.
and then like it goes like and starts smoking. He's like, go darn it, and he hits it with the pitchfork, and then my internet starts again. Because I was trying to download too much porn. And so there was one time where it was basically stay up all night down till the sun comes up, download porn, do whatever, because it took forever. And I'm like, I gotta get as much as I can while nobody's around. And so I had like I mean like a New Testament Bible worth a stack that I had eventually gotten, because it's like after a while you just start to
black and white copies.
No, full color. So I'm wasting all my mom's income and shit. I'm like, I'm printing out a lot of homework, and so I
just ferociously masturbating.
Yeah, ferociously masturbating, and then it was almost like a flip book, because it's like I had it like organized, because I was like, well, here's this category and here's this category. This is like pre-internet, so this was like before I could just like whip it up on my phone and see it. It's like, so I had all my categories
these days.
My grandpa was over at the house one day, and he was looking for the TV remote and went into my room and found my stash and put it in my mom's bathroom.
Oh, what a bitch.
And
sorry.
You're fine. It was a bitch move. But what saved him from the bitch move was, before my mom came home, he came over and he was like, Adam, I was going through your room and I found some pictures, and just kind of looked at me, and I was like, oh yeah, all my porn. And he was like, I just wanted to let you know that it's okay to look at that stuff. But your mom should know about this weird. And it's like, why?
Yeah,
why do you have to do that? Like, you could have been cool.
Like,
but no, well, then he was
thing.
like, at first I thought your mom should know about it. He's like, but I'm telling you now, so you can go get it and do whatever you want with it and just hide it. And
I'm gonna go jerk off to it.
I was like, okay, and I just jerked off to it really quick and hit it. But then like years later, like after I moved out of my mom's house, I was back like just cleaning out my old room, like getting some stuff, and I found the nasty, disgusting.
Did you jerk off to it again?
I did not jerk off to it again.
You gotta get the throwbacks in.
And it's like, what's
for old times' sake.
I was spoiled by videos at this point in my life. It's like, why do?
Yeah, imagine nowadays jerking off to a picture.
I could not jerk off to a
picture.
Could you jerk off to a still picture?
But it would just be
it would be disappointing. Yeah, because like you have to like picture
several pictures at least.
Like at least like a Captain Underpants style flip-a-rama where I can like take it and like.
But yeah, I remember so much shit. Like, this is the main old man thing I have. Is like, this porn is fucking up the new generation. Yeah. Because I remember fast forwarding through VHSs hoping for boobs.
Mm-hmm. I remember pausing in The Devil's Rejects when Sherry Moon Zombie took out her ass and smacked it, and I was like, perfect.
I remember watching movies with my parents and being like, yeah, I'm going to steal this later. And because I didn't have internet for a long time. And then when we did, we got dial-up, and it was my sister's computer, and it was like LimeWire era, and it was still slow because it was dial-up. Yeah. But you'd get like that like preview, and you'd be like, I guess it'll work. And then you download it, and it's like a topless girl on a boat that's like very poorly filmed because it's like 2002. I seem
to remember this.
I know. I feel like everyone does, and you're like, I guess I got to work with it. It's just boobs. Or yeah, you get the classic like where it's loading the picture and it scrolls down, and then you're like, tits, sweet, I'm going to start. And then it keeps loading, and you're like, huge dick, fuck.
See, my thing is that with the dial-up internet, after a while, I was like, the pictures are just no good. So it's like, I would try to download videos, and it would be like
weird. And
it's like with LimeWire, remember you would like watch the preview and it'd be like 1 second, and then like 2%, it'd be like 7 seconds, and then like a minute and a half, and you'd be like just waiting for that perfect minute and a half to show up where you're like,
I don't need much. I
don't care about you coming over when your husband's not home. I just want to get to the good stuff.
Yeah, nowadays you're like, there's too much porn. You're like, I don't.
What do you want to see? I don't ever want to hear such a terrible thing come out of your mouth again on the day of our Lord in 2017. Too much porn? Hold up. I'm going to need you to stop.
You know that's true.
No,
there's
I refuse
options.
I refuse to believe that. There's an option for everyone.
I know,
out there.
But then I'm like, this is good, but I could do better. That's my thing. Is I'm like, I could do better.
See, yeah, that is my problem. And then it's
and
like,
then 4 hours later, you're like, well, I've wasted a Sunday, and I have people coming over.
Waste?
Because you're not even. And then you jerk off for like a minute, and you're like, what did I just do?
We clearly have very, very different definitions of what is worth it in terms of getting off.
Well, like back in the day with like LimeWire stuff, there wasn't even like categories.
No, it was
just like guy,
you just had
guy
to
fucks
read...
hot blonde, and you're like, the best I have out of this is she may be hot and she's probably blonde.
And you couldn't even tell because you would look for the files on the LimeWire list,
and you're looking at like what was the video file? It's like 3GP.
Oh god, it was something awful like that.
It's like a cell phone,
or it would be like an OGG file or something like that.
I don't even. Do I have to use a keyboard to open this?
Was this
like
recorded?
A musical keyboard?
Was this recorded on one of those shitty little Matrix phones that came out in '99? What the fuck?
There was, and you're just like, you couldn't be like, I want like a nice anal deep throat, whatever. You can't you can't missile in on what you want.
And can I just say, thank God for the invention of the 4K cell phone camera, because good Lord, amateur stuff has never looked this good.
Have you seen 60 frame per second?
60 FPS 4K porn?
I don't know what I'm doing.
It looks too
much.
It looks too real.
I've seen flips and flaps I didn't know existed. I found the G-spot finally. It took this long.
You finally found where the clit is?
Yeah, it took 4K, 60 frame per second porn that makes me feel like I'm really there.
Ladies, you got it lucky these days. Listen, we got all the teaching tools we need in high 120 frame rate.
Yeah, you can throw that up on a 60-inch TV. Looks fucking
oh my god, you
good.
Can see each individual drop.
I go into people's houses that I know have 60-inch TVs just to turn on the porn, and they're like, get out of my house. And I'm like, but look. And they're like, I'm not mad, but I'm disappointed.
I'm not mad. I appreciate the reference, but get out.
Yeah. Watching porn on TV is weird.
I mean, normally, in my experience, if you're just going to bust into somebody's house and throw some porn on TV, you don't do it during a funeral wake. I found that out. And
it is always weird. And everyone's uptight.
And don't do it at a quinceañera, I found out. Like, they get really upset about that.
Yeah, I guess it depends. To each their own.
To each their own, I guess. I mean,
you're becoming a woman. Look at what women do.
Oh, Jesus.
Sorry, I'm usually drunk when I burst into
You're drunk
quinceañeras.
now, 4
I'm not
beers in.
Drunk. This is 5. I'm not drunk. This is 2, I mean. That was weird.
Oh, good Lord. I hope everyone's enjoying this rambling thus far about how much we love people and porn.
That was porn heavy.
It's a fantastic show.
What can you expect from us?
Want to get into some of these fantastic viewer submissions that we have?
Yeah. Well, they might not be viewers, but they could be, because we've got hot, new, efficient video that should be in perfect. And there's fun surprises, like in episode 17, some had to go to the bathroom. What happened in the video? There's something interesting.
There is something interesting
because we had to fill up some time with some fun music and a fun video. So watch, there's fun little things in the video.
There is.
Now that I know how to make it work, and there's fun little text. So go watch it.
It makes you very happy. So a lot of these submissions were anonymous. It looks like we got a couple of ones, a meme, and a text. What are we bleeping out?
It doesn't matter. It's bleeped out.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, so the first submission that we got, it says, I didn't do the prank. I'm sorry for a plethora of reasons. Now I know exactly who you are.
Yeah.
And I
was going to say, do we start with this?
No, I won't throw the government name out. But if you've been keeping up with the dads every week, this is the episode. This is the submission 2 episodes ago now?
Yeah,
2 episodes
16,
ago.
Someone was going to shit in the shower.
Someone was ballsy enough to think about doing the shower shit, but they apparently
and for reference, in case you are jumping in, because I did listen to episode 1 today, just to dabble. That is where full government name comes from.
Yes.
The way I say it is not interesting in that episode, but I did find the jumping off point. And so, yeah, there's a shit in the shower story from a couple episodes ago. Again, I want to emphasize we no longer condone this.
Officially.
Yeah, we might have condoned it in the past. I don't really recall. We do a lot of shit.
No, I just don't condone it officially.
Yeah, we don't have... I don't want to see anyone shit. That's what we're doing.
I don't want to see it either, personally.
He just puked everywhere. Watch the video. Wow, it's crazy. We're just puking everywhere.
Almost like if you watch the video, we could possibly have some big fat stacks of money.
Yeah, and maybe you could get it.
And maybe you could also get money.
Get money.
Shit, me too.
Shit, me
So the next submission here, this one's actually really nice.
Do you want me to? Should we go back and forth with these?
Yeah, let's go back and forth. Go ahead and read. It's this one right here. That one makes me so happy. Okay.
All right. So this one says, "Hey guys, love the show. It makes my Fridays that much better. I get paid, so I pick up some green and I drive around the city smoking joints and enjoying life. One thing I want to ask, what are your opinions on net neutrality and the fact that it may be abolished come December 14th?
Well, first of all, I would like to say on the Dapper Dads that while we cannot condone any kind of illegal activity, I would like to say thank you, sir, very much for taking your recreational time.
Sir or ma'am.
Sir.
We don't know.
We don't know who you are, but I would just like to say thank you very much for enjoying your recreational habitual habits responsibly. And thank you so much for your support. We really do appreciate it. Now, in terms of net neutrality, I think it would be foolish for anyone to say they are in favor of net neutrality because I do not want to make my Dapper fans have to pay for a specific package every month just so that they can listen to or view our show. Because let's be real, if net neutrality is a thing that gets erased, they're going to, you bet your ass, Comcast and Time Warner are going to charge you for every single little thing that you do.
And it will affect us heavily, and obviously we don't want anything to do with that.
No,
it affects everything. Obviously, they're going to come for your porn. That's the big thing everyone says. If nothing else, they're going to come for your porn. And they're going to take their time, and they're going to, if it does happen, they're going to make it seem like they're playing in your court, and then one day it's just going to be boom. But the thing I do want to point out, you should definitely, like, you can text a number, you can contact your local offices and tell them you're not in favor of it. Mm-hmm. I don't see it happening because a lot of the companies have already stood up against it, like Netflix.
Well, if you take a look at Comcast, they really sneakily, like it was either today or yesterday, they had they put out that statement about net neutrality and how they wouldn't like do this and do that.
Yeah.
If you go look at it now, there's a couple of those fun key points missing about not charging people for packages and doing all this other shit.
Of course, they're gonna they want you to do it. But one of the big points I want to make, net neutrality came out in like 2010. Remember, this happened just a couple years ago where we went through this whole thing. It literally happened in 2010.
Yeah.
Where they did whatever
they were pushing
and they
for
wanted
it,
to go for it, and it didn't happen. So I'm gonna go ahead and say it'll probably be the same thing.
Fingers crossed. I've seen some terrible things come out of politics in the last year that have really upset me on a personal level, like the whole handling of the Dakota Access Pipeline.
Yeah.
That was I don't want to get into it, but I just want to say that it's disgusting.
It's fucked. A lot of things.
It's fucked. That
the government's fucked.
The government is fucked right now.
And that's why this is always a possibility, but based off of it literally happening 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And it not going through. This is one of those times. I'm not one of those false flag people, but I feel like when there are things like this, there's other things behind the scenes that they're passing.
And
this is one of those things, because this gets all of the people our age to pay attention to one thing.
Yeah, because the internet,
we all want the internet. So this gets the kids who normally will be more on the bullshit that the government's doing. I feel like it might be one of those things. And like I said, this literally, I remember signing the shit and doing all this in 2010. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it won't occur, but we are living in the most fucked up times we've had in a while, so who knows. So
anything
go contact I'm gonna look it up while we're talking. I'll get you some numbers and shit to reach out. You can sign petitions and numbers, but definitely do it. I did one of the things. I don't know how much each thing does.
We should definitely do a post on the Facebook page about it and just be like, hey, if this gets passed, you're gonna have and that is a sad reality. This show will be greatly affected by any type of net neutrality law that passes, simply because we are on multiple formats. We do stream in multiple ways.
Yeah.
We do
and
multiple
obviously
things with it.
And we want you guys to have it for free. Like, if we ever get to the point where we're charging for something, it would never be this. If we get down the road and you get charged for a bonus or something, which who the hell knows? Right now, we want everyone to have access to it. That's why it's on every streaming format. That's why it's free. That's why we have all these things for you to contact us. We very much want interaction with you guys and want you to have this. There's people, we might not have a huge fan base yet, but everyone that listens, that contacts me, that contacts Slim, that sends submissions, like, you guys all seem to enjoy it for some reason.
For some odd reason, it makes people
and
happy.
We love you guys to death, and
Truly.
I'd never want to charge you to enjoy this. Like,
no.
We love doing it. We want you guys to love listening to it. I get things all the time that say it makes your Friday better. I love that, because I know working shitty jobs or having a bad day, and if this makes your day a little bit brighter, I'm very happy that can happen. So we definitely don't want, especially someone else coming. I don't want people telling me how to fucking create my shit.
For what it's worth, I don't like people telling me how to do anything. So it's like, I'm not going to listen to some
We both have issues with authority.
Oh, hell no. I'm not going to listen to some big bitch in a suit in Washington tell me how I'm supposed to get my show out to the people. The whole point of this show is that we are a show by people for people. Like, we are just normal guys like you. We are normal guys just like you listen to this, like all you guys and gals listen to this. We want this to be free and accessible, and that's the way good entertainment is supposed to be.
Exactly.
If you just start charging money for everything, people just assume it's a money pit, and that's not what we're about here. Obviously, this is something where as a dear close friend of yours, I want to see us both succeed with this and be happy with it. And obviously, we live in a society where money does dictate everything. So if we were to make money off the show, that is the goal, because we would love to just keep doing this for everyone.
We down the road, we need money to keep this going, and we want bigger and better things that we can offer you guys. Like, we've talked about live shows, we talk about merch, we talk about things like that. And financially, we're losing money at this.
Yeah.
I had someone recently talk to me and not realize, like, it costs us money to do this.
Yeah,
it does cost us money every month to host this. And it's a small amount of money, and we're not asking for shit.
No.
But there is always a cost with everything. So I'm not asking for money. I don't want fucking a corporation to tell you that you have to pay for this, because I'd rather have everything be free and accessible to people. If you could pull this shit up, the internet's not working, but see if we can get a number or a petition. We'll also do a Facebook post, but by the time this comes out, will be the 8th, and that said it may be abolished on the 14th. So that'll give you guys time. If you got, it takes a fucking minute. I know there's like a 5-digit code you can text that like sends it to your local congressman and tells them you're not interested, and there's a petition to sign. So if you have a minute, you're online all day anyway you're listening to this, pop on there and send it. Like I said, I'm not very fearful of it because we've been down this road before, but it never hurts to just take a minute out of your day to make sure.
Not
because if nothing else, it'll affect your porn. If you don't watch porn, it affects your Netflix, it'll affect your fucking social media. It just puts a bunch of fucking restrictions on things that are free. And we've said, we jokingly always call this a pirate radio show.
Yeah.
If they want to fucking put money on this, we will become a pirate radio show. We will get to you fuckers. No matter what, we will. I will fucking put it on cassette tapes and sling them outside of a fucking
I will burn CDs.
Locally parking lot.
I will personally email you a file every single day. I will get
this won't die because someone says it can.
Absolutely not.
No one can put a price on this.
Now, here's what I found thus far. If you are interested in contacting the FCC directly, the direct phone line is 202-418-1000. Again, that is...
Let's blow that up. Should we call that right now?
And do what? Get set on hold for the next 3 hours? Yeah, let's just do that.
Yeah, call that. There's some other stuff out there. If nothing else, we'll put it on the Facebook page.
On the Facebook post, we're definitely going to throw some petitions out there, because let's be real, guys. If you want to keep getting top quality entertainment about porn and dicks, you definitely just want to...
If you want to lose out on this, imagine what your Fridays would be like if we... I always wonder now, I'm like some days on Fridays, because I'll listen back to the episodes some Fridays if I have time. And I'm like, this is good. And then I'm always like, man, it would be crazy if we just took a Friday off and didn't say anything. I wonder how many people would be like, what the fuck?
Give it a year. Let's do it in a year. Let's just take...
we'll take one day off and ruin everyone's Friday.
Dad's
we'll
on vacation.
And then we'll post a picture of us on a beach.
Well, I mean, how are we going to do...
Nudist colony.
Well, I just actually thought about...
dicks out.
Why is it always got to be naked with you?
I don't know, man. I have a thing. I have a thing for dicks.
Wish you were her. How many of these? How many of these is he going to keep sending me? I don't know. Net neutrality is bad. If you really don't think it's that, it really is a very serious issue. So if you,
it's nothing to joke about. Like I said, look into what happened last time it tried to pop off, and I feel like that's what we're going to end up dealing with. But yeah, it's not to be taken lightly, just because the thought of that is terrible. Like, internet costs too much anyway. Like,
yeah, like shit. I'm already paying how much a month to get like...
Yeah, because nowadays, like, how many things do you pay for? I pay for fucking internet, Netflix, Apple Music.
Spotify.
I kind of pay for Spotify.
Yeah,
I got a plug. Yeah, you pay for so many different things that it's crazy. Like, I already feel like it's very split up. So, like, the thought of having to pay for more shit is just stupid and bullshit.
I mean, it's just the way capitalism
That's just the wave.
Waves.
Can you imagine all the congressmen like, this is just the wave.
And they just...
Waves don't die.
I would officially go out on the record as saying that would be worse than when, who was it? Was it fucking Paul Ryan that was dabbing? And he was just like...
Yeah, or his son.
No, it wasn't Paul Ryan's son. Paul Ryan was pissed at the congressman's son. Yeah, fuck you, Paul Ryan.
Yeah, everything you do, you already tried to ruin Wisconsin.
You tried to ruin fucking everything. Everything this guy does.
Yeah, we can't. I've never wanted the podcast to get.
No, we're not going to get political.
We have opinions, but we clearly, if you haven't noticed, go out of our way to not give you more of that shit. We know you're sitting there and you have to read all the shit on social media and the news and
shit.
We don't need this. This is a fun, uplifting podcast that talks about dicks exclusively.
Exclusive
dicks.
All right, so this next one. Hey pals, I was wondering, do you have any songs that you can't listen to because there's too much anger or sadness or whatever tied to it, because instead of seeking help in life, you just locked yourself in your room for 10 years blasting music and bottling up your emotions? Or was it just me? That's half of it, but I will not say it was just you. Alternatively, there are songs that you haven't listened to in a hot minute that would make you shake with emotion. And when I say shake, I mean, you hear the song and you stop dead in your tracks because you just Will Byard yourself back to whatever emotional shakeup you use that song to cope with. Best of luck. So, thank you for the luck. I can't say, I don't know. I've never had a song where what do you think? Is there ever a song?
I have several.
I mean, I have songs that definitely like take me back to places and songs that It's so hard to pick because like I read the submission like yesterday or the day before, and I was just trying to think of songs that like really emotionally resonated with me in a hard way. One that always really does it for me is The Trapeze Swinger by Iron and Wine, if that's a song that nobody's ever heard. It's a beautiful, it's like a 10-minute song. You have to look up the acoustic version from it was the Postal Service cover that he did. But it's on that EP. It's like an acoustic version of it because the studio is like weird and slow and it has all these sound effects and stuff, but the acoustic's a little bit faster and it kind of paints more of a better picture. And I have a very, very specific memory of my first girlfriend that I had an apartment with, and like life was just shitty and terrible. And I remember I just had my guitar and I just played that song and I just kind of closed my eyes and played it and just went through it and stuff like that. And we were doing really, really terrible. But when I finished the song, she was like, I miss you playing guitar like that. She's like, that's always really, really sweet to see. And it's like, I just vividly remember sitting on the floor of my apartment, like with my dogs around me, just playing guitar, you know. And like it does, when I listen to the words, like that song meant so much to me at that time that it's like it does bring you back to that place. I'm not gonna say there's songs like that where like I hear it and I'm like, ugh, and I like stop and it shakes me and stuff. A lot of good ass songs I haven't heard in a while that if I hear the beat come on in like a live environment or like if it comes up on a playlist, I'll start moving and dancing to it. But the Trapeze Swinger is definitely the biggest one for me. I also remember there's a song called Coming Closer to Closure by a band called Of Machines. God, that's a throwback for me. But I remember being in my mom's shitty giant red Cadillac van that she had and driving through downtown Rockford, playing the song as loud as I could on the shitty speakers from this giant minivan from the 80s. And it was when I was first like just getting out and doing a bunch of crazy shit in my life and like staying out late, you know, doing hood shit with my friends and hanging out with girls and getting drunk and just doing all kinds of shit. And it's like I just hear that and it's like I can very vividly remember driving downtown and then being in a Walmart parking lot with a bunch of friends and singing that song as loud as humanly possible as we were like walking in and just like playing it on our shitty little slider phones from like 2010, you know? And so it's stuff like that. Like I won't listen to a song for a while and then I'll be like, oh yeah, that reminds me of this time, you know? So what are some songs you got like that with some good emotional ties?
None of mine are really like good emotional. I have a thing with like a lot of songs. I'll take like one line out of a song, and that's why I think music is so much to me, because it might not be tied to like a specific memory while like the song was playing or the song was relevant. Like I'll find a song now that'll make me think of something like 5 years ago. And it seems like it's written about that moment in your life. I get that too, Blonde by Frank Ocean. The whole album, there's so many things. That's why that's one of my favorite albums forever and a phenomenal piece of art front to back. But I'll hear like one line about a certain thing and I can find something in my life that it feels like that was like I wrote that. So I do that a lot where it's not really like so emotional like the submission is asking for, but I do that a lot with music in general. There's like 3 songs I'd say that are like not like shaking with emotion, but some I've had to like stop listening to or like now I can get over it. The first one, there's a song by Prof, who I've shouted out before, one of my favorite rappers ever. It's called True Love. There was an incident that happened like 5 years ago now. I don't really want to get into it. I'll put the song out there, Prof True Love. I'll splice it in. You need to sit down and listen to the song, and it's pretty apparent like what happened to me. But it's so very much like the moment I had. Like it's like
very specific to your
it's like
situation.
I was talking about where it feels like I wrote it. Like the first 2 verses are like, wow, that's literally, I can't think of. And the chorus is odd. Everyone I've always showed it to who like might know the story and the situation I went through is always like, the chorus is weird because the chorus is just like, no one could love you as much as I do. No one could love you as much as I do. No one could love you as much as I do from now on. And it's different from the whole song. And I can never like put it into words as to like how I relate to that, because it's like conflicting with the whole song. But there's something about like what he talks about in the 2 verses and going through that to where it makes you feel like I need to like find love, because that's the whole thing. It's like forced to find a true love. You need to find love in life because it's basically about death. And I don't know how to explain it and I never can articulate it properly. But go listen to that song. The first 2 verses are like some shit I basically went through a couple years back. And the third verse is something I've never dealt with, but it's very, very intense as well.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate to find, well, maybe not fortunate, but one of his friends told me like the story behind that, and it's fucking crazy as well. So that's that's the biggest one. I've had times listening to that song after having some drinks where like it just makes me cry and like break down. And I just listened to it actually like a week ago for the first time in probably over a year. And I think I've finally gotten over that, like having it be so intense and being able to just reflect on it and be like, wow, this is an incredible piece of art that I can relate to in a specific way, but now I can kind of separate from that. The other 2 are, I had a friend pass away about 2 years ago. And one song, when we went to his funeral, I've never had like a close friend die. And that was like and we'd like kind of fallen out of touch for a bit, and he was going through some shit. And then when we got there, they played music at his funeral. And one of the songs was one that we used to listen to all the time, Against Me. And it's technically like several Against Me songs because they went on like a slew of them. He introduced me to Against Me. He had an Against Me tattoo. And we were in a band for like a week maybe. And we covered one of the Against Me songs. So as soon as it hit, like I went outside to smoke a cigarette with my sister because she was really good friends with them as well. We came in and I heard it, and she looked at me and like gave me that look, and I was like, oh, I didn't know this was going to be a part of this. You know what I mean? I thought it was going to be a bummer, but I never thought the songs would be ruined. But mainly there's one that we covered. I can never even remember the name of it. I think it's called We Laugh at Danger and Break All the Rules. It's from Reinventing Axl Rose, which is a great album. But there's one called Joy by Against Me. I'll splice a piece of it in. It's just very sad. It's kind of like,
I'll say splice pieces of everything in here.
And there's a joy in all I can see, a joy in every possibility.
Yeah, I'm going to put all these in because I feel like we need them. But definitely go and listen to them if this is interesting to you to get the full view of it.
Yeah.
That song it's just acoustic. It's just the singer. And it's just very much like, there's a part of it like, you're asked like, what do you think about God? And said I like kept getting high, and like just a bunch of things that really resonated with me and him. And I never thought about it. Like I used to listen to that and be like, I don't even care about that song that much. But in that moment, like I started crying, and then I heard it afterwards and I was like, fuck. And then there's another one by Atmosphere called Flicker, which is off of one of their newer albums. I was a huge Atmosphere fan. I haven't been as interested in their last couple albums, which happens. They're still always one of my favorite groups.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a song about Idea dying, and Slug wrote a song about him.
God,
there's the tension relief I needed. That was getting too deep. So he wrote this song, and the chorus is like, one little flicker of light can take away all the dark.
And then I smoked 1 million cigarettes. Go figure, maybe I was trying to catch up with you. Flicker.
One little flicker of light can erase the dark. One little flicker of light can erase the dark.
And it's talking about him and Idea like growing up and being together, and then how they kind of fell out of touch.
Yeah.
And how like he's writing the song and Idea would think the song was shit, and it's like, I'll splice it into it, but go and listen to each of these songs.
Yeah.
If you've ever dealt with loss, like definitely the Flicker one is very intense, and those 2 songs like would come on, because after he passed away, I left, like we all went out drinking afterwards. I drove home just listening to Against Me, just bawling my eyes. I didn't drive. I was being driven because I was blackout drunk and just crying the whole way. And one of those times where you need that.
Yeah.
And the thing I could take solace in is like, I know that fucker would be like, you bitch, you can't even listen to these songs anymore because I'm dead. Like, and now I can finally listen to them again and like get over it. But that's really what it has to be, like an event, I guess, to make the songs. You know what I mean? Stick more. You don't hear a lot of songs where you're just like, songs are sad. There's fucking like very depressing songs out there. But like once you have something that like you can relate with that sad song, then it takes it to like a scary, personal level. And that's what makes music so great. And I feel like that's why, just like I said, when I take a song and I might take one line, and out of the whole song, nothing else means anything to me. But that one line, I'll always be like, that is like this in my life. I think that's when you either have people who like music from just like a fan standpoint, or like obsessive people with us, and it's because we take so much more from it.
Right. One of the points I was going to make is that with me specifically, there's not a lot of times where I have specific songs that remind me of instances, but it's like you said, I'll listen to a song and there'll be like part of a verse or like a chorus or something, and they'll say something that resonates with how I felt at one point in time. Yep. There's a really fantastic song called Lullaby by Joyner Lucas, which was off one of his last albums. And I pulled up some of the lyrics here because I wanted to quote him. He starts each verse with, "I wonder if you often think about what you became. Do you ever wonder if you truly changed?" And he starts each verse with that question. And that always really resonates me with, for some reason, because I feel like I'm a person who, you know, obviously as young people, we grow and we evolve, and they say there's a lot of temporary people in your 20s because it's like you meet a lot of people, you come and go, you see them in scenes, you see them at parties, you see them at bars, you know, but it's like, it's not always the same people. There's always a lot of different people coming in and out. And I feel like, you know, we're all subjective to it. Like, I've also been a very different person. Yeah. And I can honestly say I've never been the same person like a year from where I'm at the next point. So like if I think about like a year,
well, that's like, what they say in general. Every 7 years, at least, you're completely different from yourself.
And so it's like I've been out on my own long enough where it's like I've seen at least 7 to 8 years of just progressive growth with who I am as a person. And so I don't like reminisce about people very much. I realize as a person, like I'm not like, oh, I miss this person a lot, or like I wonder what this person's up to. But like when I do, I really do think about them, and it's because it's like with these temporary people that come and go, like they're still people that are out there, you know. Just because it's not part of your experience, it doesn't mean they don't have their own. And it's like if you change every 7 years completely, how have these people changed? You know, are these people that I would even recognize anymore? Are these people that I would even know? Yeah, you know. And so, and
that's another thing with this submission. I'll make a good point at it, and not just depressing bullshit. But like recently, when I was like super young, I would go to punk shows around Rockford. And one of the bands I was into is Egan's Rats. If literally anyone knows, then I must know you, because we were all at those sweaty Egan's shows. Fans. Yeah, it's like, woo, I was in Egan's Rats. I was a huge Egan's Rats fan. I was like 12 to fucking 16. Yeah. And the other day I was like, oh yeah, you ever think of like local bands or just small bands you listen to, and you're like, I forgot about that. So recently I had to go to like MySpace or something and find their fucking songs. Yeah. And I found one, and it's got this really slow build up, and then it's just got the do. And I just remember being at every show and standing there and waiting for that moment, and then that rush just of everyone crazy. Just moshing in the circle pit and going crazy. And when I heard that over a decade later, I had that same, like I was listening to it in headphones, and I was like, ah! And I had that same energy, because you remember that feeling, not just like, oh, I remember how that sounded in that shitty basement I was in as a kid and whatever. I remember waiting for that, and then so just going and getting knocked down because I was 14, and people throwing me up in the air because I was a child, and like that energy. That's some of my favorite shit. Like I said, the emotional shit sticks with me more because obviously there's different things, and I'm so like, I'll hear a song tomorrow and be like, oh yeah, that line is like this moment in my life. And that's one of the big things about Atmosphere. Like I said, like, so much of their catalog, I started listening to them when I was 15, and over a decade later, the songs, like the meanings have changed to me. Like when I was 15, I was like, yeah, none of these girls want to talk to me. I fucking hate them too. And I'm like, wow, I had this really fucked up relationship with this girl, or I'm really in love with this girl now, or these different things. And I've changed, and it makes the songs change, but it was relevant every phase of my life since I found them. Right. Yeah. And that's like the best music. But then there's that crazy shit that I listen to, and I'm like, the only feeling I have with this was running around punching people. And it's still great. Like, I can't go do that now because this band doesn't exist, and we're all in our 20s, and if we punch each other, we'll probably just break, because I'm not a durable 14-year-old that can just really give it to it. But
oh god, I hate getting
like
old,
that
man.
Energy. I miss that energy, and I love when I go to shows and the energy's still there. Where now I'm the guy when I go to these local fucking shows at these DIY venues, I see those kids that are me. Now I'm the guy that I used to see at the Pit skate park, topical, and be like, oh, that's an old guy in a Black Flag shirt, and I'm just in the back drinking beers. Like, I love that these kids have this, because I had that, and it's the only reason I'm here still. And I'm just gonna progressively get to be the older guy, and I'll see another generation. I'm seeing high school kids at these shows now, and I'm like, it's fucking beautiful, but it's a real depressing for me, and it's probably weird for them, but thank God this exists still.
I don't know, it like makes me happy though, because it's like I'm never gonna be one of those dumb kids who's like, the scene saved me, because like it didn't. Like I really enjoyed being in the scene, and I met so many good people and so many good friends in it, but it's like back then it was just more about like the connection with people and the music and stuff like that, you know, and it made it special. And it's like, that's what, especially for young men, I feel like that's really important, because I don't feel like young men get an outlet for their emotional state as much, just because.
Or their aggression. I was
so angry
all the time growing up. I knew weekend comes around, I don't know who's playing, but I'm going to get to go throw my hands at people. Right. And everyone's going to pick me up, and like, the scene,
I'm gonna body slam.
I grew up in was very like cliquey, and it took me like 2 years. I was the youngest kid, and people finally were like, "This kid's at every fucking show. What's your name?" And like gave me a nickname and let me start hanging out with them, and started driving me around and giving me beers and blasting music, doing 100 on the back road. But I mean,
do what you gotta do.
I loved every second of it.
I fucking loved it,
and that's what I knew. Like, I hate school. I hate going home. I hate everything because I'm 15.
But
I don't know what to do.
This.
But I can go and. It feels like everyone hates everything, and you just want to hit people, and then you get knocked down, and everyone picks you up and like pats you on the back and pushes you, and you keep going, and like that's the only way I got all my frustration out.
Well, and that's what's so beautiful about it, is that the scene like this, it's such a beautiful display of aggression, because young people have so much aggression because they're constantly told like what to do and how to do it and who they should be, and it's like it was so good
to just do whatever the fuck you want for an hour.
And that's what was so great about it, because it's like, you know, you would get knocked down, you would see people get hurt, like, you know, there would be just people from all walks of life who all came together for the same reason. It's like, dude being a creep to the girl, everybody gang up on the dude, you know, people just being shitty and stuff, or like passing around like hard drugs, like you take care of that shit, you know. The scene took care of itself. It was like this beautiful.
You might be drinking underage, you might be smoking cigarettes, but
if you ain't hurting anybody, it doesn't matter. Once you start hurting people, it's like everybody just comes together for a common goal. Nobody wants to see anybody get hurt, but we all want this big release. And it's like, in a way, it's almost like what we're doing now with this show.
Yeah, you find different, you find healthier ways. Like, I can't go do this all the time. Still go to shows, and I'll
homage. Yeah,
crazy.
When we saw Pains, I wanted to throw down so
I've
bad.
been to shows and like really I give it to the point where I feel like I can't breathe and I'm dying, and like I'm the kind of old guy depending on the show I'm at, like really fucking
we're on the tail end of 30. We're the old guys now.
Yeah, I know, but it depends on the show. You go to some punk shows, if it's older, it works out. But yeah, it's still fun to do it. But I remember I have other things. I have this. My life is better. You know what I mean? So I'm not very aggressive anymore, unfortunately. Like, I can get to there. It's not even unfortunate. It's nice. But I do sometimes miss that aggression. Like, I'm 15, I want to fucking kill everyone.
In that same vein, I worry about like the dudes that are our age and still really into the scene they were back then, because in a way, it's like, why do you still need this release?
I went to a show. There's a spot by where I live that is like a DIY small room. It's overpacked, and you can bring your beers in, and I'll go there sometimes. And yeah, there one time was a band, I don't even remember, from somewhere, and they were like throwing things at like, you know, the kid in like the Black Flag shirt that like looks like a dork and literally just found this type of music and knows, like, I know Dead Kennedys and I bought a shirt and I don't know a ton, and like, those are the kids that we should be championing.
Oh, we should
like,
be protecting those kids.
I'm happy to see you here. Get ready for this to be your obsession for life.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're here. It's going to be a long road and it's going to be crazy, but you always have this. And they're like throwing dirty socks at them and shit. And I was like,
why?
I got to leave because I'm going to beat the shit out of this band. That's the headliner. I'll like fucking fight. Like, hype those kids up. Like, protect those kids. Because I started going to shows when I was 11 years old. My sister took me to them. Not all of them were crazy at that point, but there was shout out the Divine Cup, no one knows, which is the Millennium Center in Rockford. Shout out Pitt Skate Park, Minglewood, Acme Records,
Minglewood,
which no one knows. All of this shit. And like, I would just go. I don't know the bands all the time. I would just go.
But just go for
and
the
even
experience.
if there's not moshing, like I went when I was 11, and people would come up to me and be like, "How old are you?" And like I said, it was very cliquey. So for a while, I like wanted to be like part of these like cool kids I thought were cool with mohawks and back patches and all this shit, and looked really cool. And no one fucked with me. But then they see me at every show and finally were like, "Yo, who are you?" And then ended up becoming a big group of friends and like, yeah, it held me down. Like, hype those little kids up, because I was wearing a Black Flag shirt and I knew TV Party. Well, I didn't know fucking all the details of the band.
Well, and it's like, that's another thing that bugs me when people deal with youth culture in general, is that, you know, these are young people who are finally in the first stages of realizing I'm an adult who has a unique perspective that I want to explore. And it's like, we all started somewhere, you know?
Yeah,
I mean,
I might like a lot of shit. Like, I listen to a lot of shit. People talk about, I loved Rancid. People talk about how Rancid is trash. I still don't think they're as bad as everyone says. But you listen to some garbage. I still listen to some garbage that people are like, you listened to this when you were a kid? And yeah, I listen to it now.
Oh, I'm going to tell you something right now. I rode or died for Slipknot back in the day. That was like my shit. And you know how I got into Slipknot?
How?
I got the Scream 2 soundtrack at my aunt's house, and Wait and Bleed was on there, and I was like, oh, I don't know anything about this, but and let me tell you, I got 2 CDs at Walmart. And then I started getting the shirts at Hot Topic. I was on like the Slipknot email list back in the day and shit. And it's like every kid has to start somewhere. Like I can't stand it when there's these kids in the scene who are just trying to get out and figure themselves, and everybody's like, oh, fucking posers. Fucking you don't know shit about this. You don't know shit about that. You weren't there. You never did this. You're not into this. And it's like, give these kids the fucking chance and time to, you know what? How about instead of being such a fucking dick and being like, oh, you're a poser, you can't do this. Why don't you take your apparently superior vast amount of knowledge and give it to these kids? Teach them about this shit. Because that's what these kids want. They want an older figure who's into this stuff to be like, hey, this is some really cool shit. Here's how you can like filter through the bullshit and just get to the cool stuff, you know? Because how much shitty music did you listen to back in the day just trying to find good shit, you know?
Because mine was a lot of like early internet or pre-internet like mail catalogs where it looked cool and it might just be screaming nonsense that now looking back, I was just like, oh yeah, I got this because it looks cool and people probably think it's cool if I say I listen to this band. But now I listen to it and I'm like, especially with punk, like there's a lot of shit that like the average person is probably like, that sounds bad, but it's good. You know what I mean? If
it's
that's
good
what
to
you
someone who's
listen
into
to,
it. Yeah.
Then there's some shit where you're just like, even like the subgenres and like, or like death metal, like it's not my thing, but there's like, obviously it's good to the people who like it, and there's different levels of it, and there's people who suck at it and people who are good at it.
Well, man, I remember going to Media Play back in the day. With like my birthday and my just soak that in for a second.
Media Play was possibly the best store that ever existed.
And God took it away from us because we're not allowed to have nice things.
Rockford had the first
Media one
Play.
ever. Look it up on fucking Wikipedia. We were the #1 Media Play in the world, and it showed because it was a beautiful mecca of entertainment of all kinds for everyone to enjoy. And it breaks my heart that these kids
get on
can't
the internet
enjoy it.
there. You could horror movies. You could buy musical instruments. You could buy like the knickknacks.
You could buy figurines. You could buy posters.
Records.
They had literally everything there that you could enjoy.
They had G.G. Allen CDs.
Oh, they had how much of my birthday money, my Christmas money was spent just going in there with like $80 to $100.
Wanted to go to.
And just literally every time when my parents got divorced, my dad lived up in Rockford and my mom still lived down in Byron. And so I would go up with him on the weekends, and every Friday night after school, I would go to school. He would pick me up. We'd go get something to eat at like McDonald's or like a pizza place, and then we would go to Media Play until they pretty much closed. And he would be so cool about it because he's like, "Well, this is what my kid wants to do," and like he would just sit there and read a book for like 4 hours while I like dug through CDs.
See, that's one of the good things about my dad was he was the same as me. So he's fucking 30, 40, and he's flipping through CDs like, "Oh, they have this," and I'm also flipping through CDs
like, "Oh, they have this."
Oh, or you could be Leftover Crack. I know no one knows. Whatever. Mediocre Generica by Leftover Crack is still one of my favorite albums. It's very like thrash punk nonsense. I was listening to it in the car on the way here. It's still good. I ordered that CD because that was one of the first places besides Borders, but it like pre-Borders, where you could ask if they had something, and if not, they would order it, and you would wait like 2 to 3 weeks, and every day be like, and you didn't know because there was no fucking email.
No, and you would
just
call them and you'd be like,
bother them, and then they'd finally be like, "Yeah, we've got your copy of Leftover Crack. If you want to come get it, we don't even want it to be in the store anymore."
Something I did that was so awful was another band I championed as a child was Rammstein, the German heavy metal band. That was the very first band I ever championed.
Really?
The very first one. Because
do you remember the video when we were
which one?
Du hast mich?
Yeah, where it was like the Reservoir Dogs rip off and okay, what happened was I was 10.
How old were you?
10. Yeah. I was 10 years old, and my mother had bought me the Matrix soundtrack at Sam's Club. And I came home, and I remember I put it in, and the first song on that soundtrack.
All of these things, there's someone listening to this who's like, I don't know, literally, like for the past 20 minutes,
they don't
all
know
of the bands we've said
about.
And all of the establishments we frequented are just nonsense.
Well, you pop the album in, and the first song that comes out of it is Rock is Dead by Marilyn Manson, and it blew me out of the water. And then that album, it had Prodigy, it had Rage Against the Machine, it had Rob Zombie, it had...
What was the Prodigy song?
I don't remember what the Prodigy song was.
I know it.
I'll look it up right now, though. I remember, but I specifically remember sitting, it was the day before we moved into our new house, and I had just had like my mattress on the floor of my old bedroom, and I had my Walkman, and I was in the dark, and I was listening to it.
This is all so old.
It's so old.
You were in a waterbed with listening to a Walkman? Yeah. None of these things exist. How old are we? I was thumbing through the phone book. other old things.
We've just dated
on my
ourselves
house
so far.
phone.
Had my house phone, went down to Procter and Gamble's to get myself an iodine done. I got some Werther's hard candies.
I went to a
that.
soda fountain.
They're good for a good soda jock is good for the Constitution, I believe. Now let's go get a fried cigarette and hamburger sandwich.
Holy shit.
But I remember I was sitting in the dark and Du Hast came on, and it was just the most. And I was like, oh, this is cool and hard. And then it's like, Du Hast.
I remember watching the video with my cousin
Hast,
at
Mish.
my grandma's house, and we were just like, what the fuck? Were you a big enough fan to buy their penis molds that they all did?
I did not.
Oh.
No, I was not that big of a fan.
I seen a picture online. One of them's got a hog. The other ones are all just average dicks. You couldn't pick them apart.
Okay, so here's the full soundtrack. I'm gonna go through this so you guys have some choice cuts.
What was the soundtrack again? I'm sorry.
The Matrix.
Okay, yeah,
Music
of course.
from the motion picture.
Okay, yeah, as opposed to the comic book or.
Rock is Dead by Marilyn Manson. Bad Blood by Ministry.
Okay.
Clubbed to Death by Rob Dugan. Prime Audio Soup by Meat Beat Manifesto.
Wow.
Minefields by The Prodigy. Dragula, the Hot Rod Herman remix by Rob Zombie.
Yep.
My Own Summer, Shove It by the Deftones, which, oh my God, let me. Can you cut that in the beginning? Ultrasonic Sound by Hive, Du Hast by Rammstein, and Wake Up by Rage Against the Machine. That was like my first.
So what we need everyone to do is go listen to that soundtrack front to back because it's very topical. That was not the Prodigy song I was thinking of.
No, and there was better Prodigy tracks that could go on there, but
yeah,
it was still good. But I have a very vivid memory of listening to that and then getting all the CDs and everything and just totally blowing out. And I remember getting a Media Play gift card. And with the Media Play gift card, I ordered the Underworld soundtrack and Rammstein Live House Berlin. Those were the two first CDs I ever purchased for myself. And so I learned every Rammstein song live before I ever learned it on a CD. And it's like, it's the kind of shit where it's like you hear a song on a soundtrack, you get into it, and then that's what eventually gets you into it more. And it's like, I grew up in a small country town, and do you know how much I would have loved to have like a mentor or like an older brother or like an older cousin or someone who's like into this shit and show it to me. So like really, and I realize we've been harping about music for the last 20 minutes, but it's like this is what you get when you foster that in kids, because it's like when you see a kid who maybe you have a young child and they're into like a YouTube series you don't understand, or they're into like a video game you don't get. That's them exploring their options and exploring what they're going to be into in the future. It's like you can't just keep stifling kids' creativity like this just because you don't understand it. I tried showing my mom Rammstein and Slipknot when I was a kid, and she thought it was hot fucking garbage and she couldn't stand it. My dad wouldn't even come near it with a 10-foot pole, but I still remember being like 13 years old and talking his ear off for 8 hours about all the shit I knew about Slipknot.
Yeah, just listen to the kids, bro.
Listen to the fucking kids.
All right, yeah, let's get into another submission. I like this one to shake things up because we've got another music one.
Okay.
If your current girlfriend fucked 50 inches worth of dick, how would you break that up? Like, would you want one 50-inch dick or 25 2-inch dicks? Hope this made sense. Love you guys.
Now, here's the thing. I tell every girl, and I mean every girl that I've ever dated, that if they ever fuck somebody else, I will fuck that person in front of them. And it's not like a sexual thing; it's a dominance thing.
Yeah.
So like, if you fuck a girl, I'm gonna fuck that girl in front of you. But if you fuck a dude, I'm gonna fuck that dude in front of you, and it's gonna be uncomfortable for everybody. So like, Okay, so what I find odd is that whatever weird punishment situation this is we've been created, it's been justifiably laid down by the law that it's 50 inches of dick. It's not just like 50 dicks or like a certain 50 minutes
50
with
dicks
dick.
would be worse because you're gonna go with the average.
But here's what I like is that they said 1 50-inch dick or 25 2-inch dicks.
And it can be, I'm guessing it can be anything in between. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so like
it could be,
do like
it
averages.
could be 51-inch dicks, if that makes you, because I think that the whole thing here is like that heads or tails situation with like, do you want your girl to be fucked by a giant dick, or do you want her to fuck a decent amount of guys who all had little dicks?
I mean, here's
you know
what
I mean.
I'm not gonna slut shame anybody for the amount of people that they fuck, because if you want to fuck hundreds and hundreds of people, that's your business, and you fucking go for it.
But if you have a girlfriend, as much as I agree with that, if you have a girl that's like, I want to be with you, I love you, I fucked 50 dudes, that's a lot of dudes. You know what I mean? As much as it's more than I think the average person, depending on how old you are.
Never own the pussy, man. It's just your turn with it.
Yeah, I have a thing. I don't want to know anything.
I don't care.
That's what I would prefer.
Okay, here's my thing. I have done. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and be
I've
like,
done 50 bitches.
I like nasty bitches. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I'm not gonna name off how many people I've had sex with or what I've done with them.
Amount of sex you've had. We gotta work on that.
Government names of the full amount of people you've had sex with. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I've had tons of sex and like brag or anything.
Wow, yes, I've also had an amount of sex.
I've also had
quite intense
sex with vaginas. Is that what my hand is supposed to say? Vaginas?
I was feeling on her boobs and I was like, oh, they're like sandbags.
I was like, oh wow, your lips are like beautiful wet candy.
She had the little Hershey
Episode 18, beautiful wet candy. I love it. I don't know. I mean, like, I feel like this is a situation.
But yeah,
I don't really have a thing.
You don't
like,
care either way? I mean, I feel like I care too much.
I don't care at all. Like, literally, I could care less at all because it's like,
I care a bunch. Ladies, do what you want to do, but then, like, if we get together down the road, I just don't want to know. If I don't know, I don't care. You could have sex with 1,000 people, or I could be your first.
Like, if you're gonna throw
I probably don't want to be your
if
first.
you're gonna throw out the number with me, that's fine. I mean, like, depending on the number, I'm either gonna be like, wow, that's impressive, or okay, I'm gonna react appropriately to the number, but I'm not gonna like
mine
make
wouldn't
you
be
feel
wow,
bad.
that's impressive. Don't
Get into details about it. That's my
yeah,
thing. Like, I don't care that you've done.
I don't
want to
know because I think too much. So if you're like, I've had sex with 50 people, I would be like, okay, it's face to face. But then I would be like, okay, I'm 1 in 51. Well,
I don't give a
probably
shit.
Probably not adding up. There's 50.
Let's put it this way: if I am lucky enough to have a woman willingly share her body with me,
I agree.
It doesn't really matter.
I agree with that. And like I said, I don't want to slut shame, but I'm not going to lie to you guys. Like, I think about it, it gets in my head. It can be a low number. I'm still just like, I just don't think I'm good enough.
See, my thing
my
is
body
that
is dumpy and my dick is average.
Well, I mean, that is kind of my thing because like I don't really have good like self-image about myself, and so it's like, what kind of?
I just assume if I'm dating a girl and she's like, I've been with 10 people, like that's not crazy, whatever. I assume all of their dicks are bigger than mine, and they were better lovers.
Automatically.
You know what I mean? So that's what that's where I think this question is founded.
But see,
in.
like I've gotten over it. Because see, man, here's my thing. Like deep down, like you know how like deep down we all got that shit that like there's the shit that like you and me talk about when it's just you and me, and then there's like the shit we don't tell anybody about
anyone, and it's just rotting.
But then like that deep down part, like that deep part of yourself, deep down in there.
Yeah, that bad part.
Deep down in there, I don't give a fuck about anything at all. And so it's like if a girl wants to, because I can sit there and I can be like, I can be like, I got man boobs and my dick is shrimpy. But like, if a girl is kind enough to share her body,
to take that audio out of context.
Yeah, can you make that a clip in the beginning? Yeah. Oh my god, man boobs and my dick is shrimpy. But if a girl is attracted enough to me to share her body with me, that's her personal choice. And
I agree with that. I think it more comes
if you fuck
from
a different dude every day of the year, I don't give a shit. Like it doesn't bother me at all. Like it used to bother me a lot because I was like, man boobs, but now I'm like, well, I'm beautiful the way God made me.
Depends on love. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have sex with people and you're like, like if I was just hooking up with a girl and she's like, I've had sex with 50 people this year, I would be like, wow, it's impressive. And then I would put a condom on.
Yeah. I mean, always use French letters, kids. Always put the Jimmy on.
But then if I fall in love with allegedly I allegedly put that condom on, and then you have kids. So don't do it. Don't have sex, guys.
Don't have sex because you'll have babies and then you'll die. But
yeah, if I'm like in love, eventually I'm going to be like, they all had bigger dicks and they're probably ripped and they probably just like, they made you come like 50 times but you were just screaming. And now every time we have sex, you think about them and I'm just breathing heavy over you.
But I mean,
we're both looking at how my body is, gravity's not kind on it when I'm hovering over you.
You got to look at it like this. She's choosing to have sex with you in that moment though. So it's like, you're obviously the best that she has found thus far if she's not with these other guys.
The best she found that night.
Thus far. Thus far.
I don't think that's fine. So yeah, I mean, can we give I feel like we didn't answer this. 50.
I don't know.
150-inch dick or 25?
Listen, man, I'm just gonna.
You don't care?
I'm gonna end this with the same way I started it. If my girl fucks somebody else, I'm gonna fuck him in front of him. So that guy, if that guy is an 8-inch dick, he's gonna get fucked by a very small shrivelly dick.
I'm gonna go with the 150-inch dick because I don't think enough of it can fit in there.
I mean,
I don't know how big the girth is, but you know what I mean.
Do I have to watch these guys fuck her? Like this is such a. What is this huge problem dudes have with it's like, this girl fucked so many dudes, or your girl's gotta fuck. Why is that like a punishment? Whoever sent this, stop being fucking disgusting. I don't like whoever sent this. I'm gonna gonna look up your phone. No, this is starting to really upset me. I'm gonna look up this phone. I know who
this is, and we both like them.
Well, I'm gonna fucking hate them next time I see it. Because if it's who I think it is, and if his little bitch ass wants to come down to the dungeon and talk about it, we can talk about all the slut shaming going on in this.
I don't think it's slut shaming. I really don't. I understand where it's coming from.
It's a slut shaming mentality. I just don't fucking like it, man.
I don't slut shame. I just secretly in my head feel bad about myself. I think that's where this is grounded in. But you think about it, because like I said, if a girl fucks 50 dudes, I think they were all better than me. You know what I mean? I'm not blaming the girl, because anything you do in your past, if you fucking whatever the fuck, if you did 9/11, I mean, if I love you enough, I'll get over it.
I'd like to know if like the person I'm with, like.
Oh, hey, I forgot to tell you I did 9/11.
So what are three interesting facts about you? I am a Pisces, but my sun sign is Sagittarius. I own a crystal healing shop with my mother. She has half the shop, and then I have the other. And I was coercing with Osama bin Laden to orchestrate 9/11. This flash blind date is not going the way I thought it would. I'm gonna move on to the next one. But you have a wonderful life. So sorry about your mentor. I heard they just threw him in the ocean.
Yeah. All right. I guess we kind of answered that.
Yeah.
Can we do the Instagram one?
Yes.
And while you're pulling it up, I will say this one came to us from our Instagram page. And if you're thinking, wow, I didn't know they had an Instagram page,
because we don't advertise it.
Tell you that we did. We were just squatting on the name, and we're going to build it. But I think at this point now we have an Instagram page.
Yeah,
right? Because someone found it. We got a fucking submission to the Instagram page. Shout out to this guy.
Because username Duck Shorts, but this is actually a kid I know. I went to school with him. We called him Schmitty back in the day. So Schmitty, good to hear from you. Yeah. Glad to know you're supporting the show. He
very big supporter. Literally found the only person that follows this empty page and asked us a question through the Instagram. So everyone go follow at dapperdadspodcast. We'll start promoting it around this episode, and we'll start posting on it.
Yes.
We'll put some shit you won't find anywhere else on there, so go follow it.
Some exclusive pics from the dungeon.
We'll follow you back if you're early on the train, so be one of those cool people.
So I would like to say shout out to Schmitty. He was in a life-changing accident several years ago that really, really fucked him up, and he has recovered fantastically, per my understanding.
Glad to hear that.
Shout out to you, man, and thank you for your support. I really hope that you are doing well.
And this is one of the more serious submissions that we got.
Yes, so it says, Dear Dapper Dad's Podcast, topic of conversation submission for the show. I want to know the last time you trusted a fart too much. If you say never, we will all know you're lying. So, I can't think of a specific time where I've like trusted a fart too much. No, and I'm not like, but I will say the only time in my life where I almost shit my pants, I was 10 years old and we were driving down to Florida. Yeah. So we didn't fly.
That'll do it.
We drove. And so from
13 hours
from Illinois to Orlando, we went basically from Illinois and stopped in Kentucky. Mm-hmm. And then we stopped from Kentucky and got all the way to the bottom of Georgia. And then from Georgia, we got to Orlando. So it was like a 2.5, 3 day drive.
Yeah.
We were on some long stretch of highway in Florida. And I mean like a long one along the ocean where like there's just nothing but like alligators and swamp and meth. Mm-hmm. And I just had to, I had to shit so bad that I was, and I'm going to do this in the video component. I'm going to show you how I was sitting in the chair. I was in the back seat of my mom's van. Literally posed like this.
Were you prairie dogging it?
I prairie dog and nothing. Like it was like half hanging out. It literally felt like my body was going to explode from the bottom half. And I remember as a 10-year-old child screaming, I don't fucking care if I have to pull over and shit in the swamp and wipe with my t-shirt. Please just stop. I was begging with everything I had in me. I was like, please stop so I can shit. I'm going to shit my pants. I need you to stop so I can shit. Thank God in the time I was screaming and disassociating from the shit I had to take, we stopped at a gas station, which was full of alligator memorabilia. I mean, back scratchers,
at least it's
heads,
not full
a wall of alligator heads.
Not full of alligators.
Like, the only thing that would have made it worse is if it was live alligators, because this half of, so I ran into the gas station. I'm like, bathroom, and they're like back there. As you're running back to the bathroom, this half of the wall is all alligator shit. This half is all fireworks, and I'm like, this is like the ball sack of America.
You should have lit off the fireworks so they shot into the alligators' mouths.
Just those cold dead eyes, just fire, just like in the video, it's like just reflecting in the glass eyeball. It's like 10-year-old Slim ruins a fucking Floridian gas station. Hurricane Irma,
Florida's
Hurricane
crazy.
Fast Finger Slims coming fast at your gas stations full of fireworks and gator props.
Florida's crazy, so it wouldn't be.
No, Florida be booling, man. I don't know what to tell you anymore. So I've never trusted a fart too much, but I did almost shit myself when I was 10 years old. I've never. Yeah, I just can't think of a time I trusted a fart too much and shit my pants. I'm very sorry that you yourself have shit your pants, Schmitty, clearly, because apparently, and I'm going to quote here, you're saying no, you're lying. So if you would love to regale us with the tale of the time you trusted a fart too much, go ahead and call 402-732-7737 and let us know about the time you shit your pants. Drama, have you ever trusted your anal clenchings too much?
I did it.
I think I remember you told me this like a couple of weeks ago. This
is pretty spicy.
That's probably what caused it.
I wish I could say that was the case. I was in Minnesota where I do all the bodily harm I can to myself, and I believe what happened was me and shout out Matt the God got food poisoning from Burger Jones. Fuck Burger Jones. And yeah, I don't know what happened. We went to the music festival Soundset. Long story short, go to Soundset, was out in the sun all day. I either got food poisoning or heat stroke or whatever the fuck you call it. And so we go back to the hotel. I order a small pizza, eat it to myself. Go to the after party. Feel weird, like pregnant, like I assume pregnant feels. Very full stomach. Have a drink and some water. Cannot get over it. Go outside. Vomit the most I've ever puked in front of the line of people still waiting to get into the after party. Go back in the after party. It's not working. Go back to the hotel. Call an Uber. Go to the hotel. Very, very upset. Call it a night. Fall asleep. Wake up in the middle of the night. Our hotel room was full of people that had come with us or met up with us. I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm just like, oh my God, I feel very sick. So I go. My sister was also there. I go. And I see someone's in the bathroom and there's people sleeping on our floor. So I'm just like, I've got to fucking puke. I don't know what to do. Where am I going to puke? I can't figure it out. Looking for anything to puke in. Can't figure it out. Finally open the bathroom door. My sister was in there, not doing anything, just in the bathroom. And I'm like, I got to puke. So she runs out. So I'm in my boxers and my undershirt. Get on my knees, lift up the toilet seat. I'm puking in the toilet and I'm just fucking so much puke. And then while I'm puking, I feel like I have to fart, but I don't really think about it because I'm in the middle of puking. So I let it go. I think it just went because my body's clenching and shit. And then I'm like, oh, I'm also possibly shitting my pants. And it didn't end up being like that. It felt like it. So picture me, video component,
folks.
Knees down, puking. Think I got to shit, turn around, shit onto a huge pile of my puke, violent diarrhea onto a pile of my puke. So knees down on the ground, puking, weird, kind of wet fart, turn around, diarrhea onto puke. And then I was just sitting there like, what the fuck is my life?
3 short puke stories for me really quick. One time
it's always 3 for some reason.
One time
I've only got 3.
One time I got acute food poisoning from Burger King. Fuck Burger King. I ate 3 Whopper Juniors, a large fry, and a cherry icy. 6 a.m.
That'll do it.
6 a.m. the next morning before school. I felt a little gurgly. I ran into the bathroom and I puked in the tub because I was discombobulated from lack of sleep. Threw up. Bright pink puke with chunks of fry in it and some lettuce. And left it in the tub and went back to bed. And so the next morning, my sister went to go use the tub and I hear, oh, what the hell?
Jesus Christ.
When I was a child, I was shitting my brains out. And the way the bathroom at my house I grew up in, here's the toilet. If you're sitting on it, you got the sink to the left and you got the tub to the right. So I'm sitting there puking my brains out. Not puking, I'm shitting my brains out. And I feel, oh God, I'm going to puke. Instead of puking in the tub, I lean over and puke in the sink. So I just go, and puke in the sink, to which my dad comes upstairs and just goes, you couldn't have puked in the fucking tub. Because my puke was apparently so viscous and chunky that it clogged the sink. And he's sitting there with a Drano rat trying to get it.
That's why I can't have kids.
Oh, fucking chunks. God, I feel like there was another puke story I thought of, but those are like 3. The 2 main ones.
I've got a lot of puke stories.
So many puke stories.
Never have I. That was the time. And after that, I will say, if you trust a fart and you're wrong, it forever ruins farts.
Yeah,
I
it
still
does.
like I could fart right now and I'm like
Be a little leery of it.
Yeah, ever since then I'm always like I don't know for sure. And it's never happened again, but I'm always on edge about it.
I remember what it was when I was getting sick with my heart shit and I didn't know what was going on. I wasn't eating for days at a time because there was a bunch of water pushing on my stomach, so I felt full.
Yeah.
And I ate a toxic mix of chips and salsa, Stouffer's lasagna, and strawberry lemonade.
That's that. I'm one away from.
It sounds
that
delicious,
mix.
but like
chips and salsa and strawberry lemonade are probably in me right now.
Oh yeah, but like if you hadn't eaten anything in 3 days and that's what you shoved into your
yeah,
body,
because that's
it all came back up very
I didn't
violently.
eat for 3 days one time just to see if I could do it because I was mad at someone and then
that is the mark of an anal retentive child if I've ever seen one.
This was an adult. Then when you do
Habits.
eat it because you can't do that.
No.
You have to like keep eating, otherwise your food has to be liquid for like a certain amount of time.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, don't hold grudges and not eat.
No, don't do that. But I had puked up, and I puked so hard. Do you remember this? I burst all the blood vessels in my forehead, and they were purple because it was like in my forehead, and they were fresh vessels that had never been popped. I puked so violently. My roommate was on the phone with his brother, and he goes, "No one's screaming. My roommate's throwing up," because I was going like,
yeah,
because I was like, oh,
me and my buddy
God.
used to have a term called yell vomit.
Oh, isn't that the worst? It sounds so anguished and horrible. It sounds
One
like
time
when
I
you
did
kick
it
a
up
dog
someone.
on accident.
I did it up someone's stairs because I thought I was fine, and walking up the stairs really threw me off my game. And so while I was walking up, I literally yell vomited across their wall up along the stairs.
God. Only thing that would have made it better is if you spelled a message in the yell vomit.
There might have been.
Yell vomiting is the worst because like you hear that primal scream come from within people, and like
because you don't really scream a lot like day-to-day life.
Like as much
you
as
might scream in the car like, "Oh, you bitch," but not like that. And then
I don't
when you're
even
puking, you're
scream like really like when I yell like at people in the car, I'm just like, "Hey, you fucking."
I scream sometimes just because I'm like.
If my music's really loud and I'm like screaming, I'll do it. But like very rarely am I like, because I'm a big guy, so I try to be very like aware of my volume, you know, because the last thing you need is a guy. You don't need a guy my size like just screaming at the top of his lungs. People were terrified me at all the shows I went to back in the day, just horrified at the 60-foot kid just screaming in the front row at the top of his lungs.
It's true.
Next we got that meme that we got, which we're gonna have to describe to you. It's
let's describe a meme.
Describe memes. Stop sending me fucking memes, people. It says, imagine waking up to these underneath your Christmas tree emoji, heart eyes emoji, Santa emoji, exasperated emoji, snowflake, and it is a pair of Lightning McQueen wheelie Crocs. Yeah. Which I would just like to say kerchoo to if I woke up to those underneath the tree. If you could send me a man's 14 size pair of Lightning McQueen.
Oh no, those things
Crocs.
are gonna buckle under the pressure. That's too much, man.
Too much. Dude.
No Heelys made strong enough for you at this point. I'm sorry. It's nothing personal.
I know it's not.
Should we write we should write pen? We should open source a penned letter to Heelys Corporation on your behalf about how they don't make a quality product for a full-grown 60-foot man.
There you go.
To sustain.
If you are listening to the show and you have a weird uncle that works for Heelys, let me get in contact with him.
If you think you're good with writing, then write up a letter and throw it to us as a submission on the website. Maybe email. Maybe this is the good email one. Give us a nice draft of a letter, and we will find Heelys corporate contact
and we
information.
will get me a pair of Heelys.
And maybe we'll have another Chick-fil-A situation where we can just finesse the system and get Slim some Heelys, and then we'll do a live exhibition of Slim on the Heelys down a hill. It'll be like some childhood movie.
No pads.
Where everyone's like, he's gonna do it.
And I'm gonna get to the bottom of the hill, and I'm gonna like
flip over the swing set.
I know what I'm going to do is I'm going to get to the bottom of the hill and it's going to be like, he made it. And that's when I crash.
So much shit.
My whole face is going to get ripped
your
off.
Teeth will be gone.
I'm going to sit up. It's going to be like Hellraiser. I'm going to be like, eh.
We'll be pulling pebbles out of your face for like the next 7 years.
Teeth, not pebbles. Drama, please.
Yeah, it's just teeth. Your teeth go through your lips. That happened to my cousin.
Like bite your lips off?
Yeah, your teeth go down through.
Oh, God. Can we talk? Next submission.
I think this is
the last one.
You want me to get it? I got it pulled up.
Yeah, and I actually really like this one. I thought about this, and I do have some good recommendations
I don't
for it.
so much, but we'll get into it.
I do.
It's from Bob Marley. What's up, dads? Had a quick question. As I know from the show, You two are crazy into all kinds of music. Do either of you ever listen to any video game music? I've just recently discovered some God of War tracks are perfect for working out, and some of the older stuff from Super Mario, I have a speech impediment, and I've been drunk. Castlevania and Final Fantasy games are just dope music as well. Would love to get the Dapper Dad's opinion on the topic.
So, I am someone who loves video games. I just want to throw that out there. If you ever want to hang out with me, I do lots of live video gaming on PlayStation, doing lots of Destiny 2 recently.
Yes, we're both on PlayStation.
So, yeah, if you want to...
I don't play that much.
Well, the gamer tag is Fast Finger Sleb, so if you're ever trying
Mine is Brain Dead Drama.
I do Destiny 2, and I do a lot of For Honor, so if you're ever trying to play online with one of the dads, let us know. And
do... Fuck, what did I even do? I don't have the internet anymore because I was kind of poor, so I was like, well, this is where we cut costs. Yeah. But I do GTA 5 still. What else is online? The only games I have, I just recently got PS4. GTA 5, Resident Evil, which I stopped playing because it was getting too scary.
It's a little saucy.
It's a little bit much.
Are you talking about Resident Evil 7?
Yeah, the newest one.
I beat Resident Evil 7, but the second to last boss fight took me 8 months to beat, and that was like stopping for like 2 weeks at a time and then trying it out again for an evening.
It made me scream in real life. Like, I'll watch horror movies, I'll go to haunted houses.
How far did you get into it?
Not very far.
I got to the... Okay, so what it is when you get into the game, there's like the Baker family.
Don't ruin it for me because I was thinking about playing it tomorrow.
I'm not going to ruin it for you, but I'm going to let you know that each member of the family acts as like a boss at one point in the game.
I could kind of
so there's like 1/3, like a part of the game is with the dad, and then a part of the game is with the mom, and the boss fight with the mom scared the ever loving shit out of me. No,
it was making me scream in my house.
No, I want you to play through it just so you can get to that boss fight,
hard,
because
man.
I had to stop playing for a couple of weeks because like it freaked me out goddamn bad.
It's great. It's unreasonably scary.
Well, in terms of video game music, I
play Crash Bandicoot Last
I
of
want to
Us,
get
Last
Crash
for
Bandicoot, yeah.
And no, because fucking there's that level where you're up in the sky. I can't beat it, and I refuse. You can go to the 2 other games, but I like have to beat it. I don't know how the fuck it makes. I was screaming like,
in that case, can I just borrow your copy?
It's not. I downloaded it on the game because I'm afraid to go in public and buy things. And then I just got Sonic Mania, which is sick.
Today I actually picked up Dishonored: Death of the Outsider, which is like kind of a fun mini Dishonored game.
Like those games like that.
See, man, I play pretty much everything Bethesda puts out. So like Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Dishonored series, Doom. What's the other one they just put out? Oh, the Wolfenstein. I fucking love the Wolfenstein. Pretty much anything Bethesda puts out, I super fuck with, because I love the whole Elder Scrolls Fallout universe. I love all the small titles they put out. They revamped the Doom franchise, and the newest Doom game that came out was my pick of the year for Game of the Year last year. Simply because it brought back the fun of what it's like to be a kid and play video games, where like you just run through, you just shoot them up, you have fun with it, you know. That soundtrack was especially good because it was a mix of good again.
I had one more, but you made me laugh.
It's a mix of gent and like breakbeat metal, and so a lot of songs are like very Meshuggah-esque, very like mathcore, like Between the Buried and Me. A lot of 8-string guitars, and it works very well for the environment. Other games, a game soundtrack I